Watch this.
Right, here we are.
I fancy getting this sound effect, actually. I could do a... Oh, I wasn't as aggressive as I'd like. Not aggressive. Well, it's not aggressive. You've made an unaggressive call, Colin. So we're going to try... I'm going to just trip that a little bit
Yes.
there. And then Sam, you're going to have a little bit more.
Thank you very much. We are. Oh, wow.
That's plenty.
Oh, that is plenty.
You don't need that much, do you, Colin?
There's a double for Sam.
Well, I've got a driver today. Tom's going to be driving me back.
Good for you.
So this is a Loch Lomond whiskey.
Yeah, this is the special edition whiskey that's that they produce every year. A different special edition comes out. This year's in a green box because, of course, the Open's in Ireland. Last year it was a blue box because the Open was in Scotland, and then the St George's, of course, was the red box for St George. So it's so that's why the green label's on there. And it's I'm very proud of having my name associated with this. My name's on the bottle, and very, very, very honoured to have my name associated with this particular whiskey.
What notes are we expecting, Sam? You're our note specialist here.
He is.
I'm getting. It's definitely red fruit, red currants and berries.
More of a raspberry?
Yes.
On the nose.
Yes.
Hugely.
Yes.
I think that's coming from the Chianti casks.
Now there you go. You see, you got the wine casks. You see, he's an expert. He is.
It's as if...
Do you know there's a
it's as
chap
if
at
he's
our
been
golf
told.
club?
Yeah, it's as if he's been told and he's read up.
There is a chap at our golf club who is an exceptionally good wine guy.
Oh, right.
And does he have no sense of taste or no sense of smell? One of the two.
I don't know. It can't be taste.
Markham.
Yeah, it can't be.
It's something like that. Or he has something which basically, anyway, he's just got, I think he leans on one sense very heavily. And as such, he's got an amazing nose or palate for wine. Anyway, we digress completely.
Can you, can I see you have a little?
Yeah, cheers.
This is...
It is. It's lighter.
It is definitely lighter, isn't it?
It's lighter than the 22-year-old.
The 22-year-old's really quite
It's
a punchy
lighter.
whiskey.
Less peaty, more fruity. And I think that's obviously coming from your wine casks.
Do you feel like much of this is going to be consumed in on Thursday and Friday, Colin?
I do, because again, I have a driver there as well, so we're fine. And somebody's piloting the plane, so we're okay, you know. So yeah, and of course Ireland. I think the Ireland and the Scots, we love our whiskies, so I think it will sell well. And yeah. Good luck to Loch Lomond Whiskies. They've done a great job in being the spirit of the Open, and it was a gap in the brand, if you like, and they've done a super job with it.
I think key moments that matter, which is a big part of Loch Lomond for them. Fourth fairway today, had a very tight lie. It wasn't quite a shank, but it wasn't far off.
I think it was a
key
shank.
moments had to be bouncing off the
OB
fence back onto the edge of the green. It allowed me to putt from the rough because I didn't fancy chipping that early in the day and getting out of there with a 4. And I think that's just a key moment that matters. That's our Loch Lomond moments that matter.
I think
we're
is.
going to talk about the Ryder Cups and everything, but for me,
personally,
that one really
forget
matters.
the Ryder Cup. That was
Yeah.
it, wasn't it? Really,
It's
that
huge,
was it.
Huge.
Yeah.
You again, for those of us who are tuning in just for round 2, you this first time you've played Woking and you threw a couple of birdies of the card. Is that something? Are you fairly good at new courses and just?
I've got a good eye for, we used to. I didn't really have my sort of Bushnell thing, whatever the radar, GPS thing, whatever you call them now, rangefinder, and we used to look at the hole and guess what club it was, and by eye, and I'm quite good at that. So on a new course, you feel you have to do that sometimes. So I'm quite good at getting the distance right. And the greens were that pure today at Woking Golf Club this morning that the greens rolled very true and I hold a couple of putts. And you can't make a birdie really without holding a putt. So yeah, made a few and really, really enjoyed it. I thought the layout was super. I thought they had to draw some drives, fade some drives, hold them up into that anti-camber type of way. The greens are the defence here at Woking, and everyone knows that. And you've got to get the right distance control with your iron shots, and that comes from hitting the fairway to start with. I've never seen a decent iron player from the rough, never will, and never seen a decent iron player that gets every time the right distance from the rough. But I have seen a decent iron player with the right distance from the fairway. And that's the key shot, and that's what people have, they think about length, yes, but I'd take 15 yards less and on the fairway every time.
We're going to dive into the Ryder Cup stuff in a moment, but speaking of being in the rough, here as well as what you're going to be facing when you go to Sunningdale soon, I've never seen anyone hit it decently out of the heather either. I mean,
No, especially American cousins that are coming over thinking that the ball might be sitting okay in the heather. And golfers who are listening and watching know exactly what I'm saying. It looks okay until you try and hit it.
And get down
and it
on
absolutely just goes, anywhere, sideways, right, left, centre. So, yeah, if you happen to be in that heather, please, I'd advise you, go in there with your lob wedge, get it back in play and start again.
You obviously did play your two, the aforementioned Sunningdale, your two Walker Cups.
Mm-hmm.
When you stepped into the arena of the Ryder Cup, did you have a sense of familiarity, or did it all feel quite new and shiny?
This was a huge step up. This was a huge step up. I felt in the Walker Cup that I was one of the sort of senior members, But then in the Ryder Cup, you become a rookie again in a hurry. Yeah. Especially with the quality of players that Europe had at the time. I was very much a rookie, especially at Kiowa Island in '91, where, you were very much second string. Yeah. And at that time, Europe had a second string. It was 6 and 6 really. There were 6 guys that played all the matches, and the other 6 fed in, and I was the other 6.
Yeah.
I played once on Friday, once on Saturday, and in the singles, and I was glad to play at least 3 times, in that first Ryder Cup under Bernard Gallagher's captaincy, and thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed the whole experience. I know it was awful. We lost. The crowd were, intense to say the least, and they called it the war on the shore, and it became that way. America had lost the Ryder Cup in 85, in 87, tied in 89, which meant they lost. So this was America wanted this back badly, and if we were to be wronged one, if we were wrong in one go, we never gave enough credit for the fact that they wanted it back really badly, and nothing was given. We were told to give no putts at all, and it was funny.
Instructed to give no putts. Yeah,
instructed to play the game, play it as stroke play. Don't give anything, because this is intense. This is really intense, and it was the start of the Gulf War in '91, and it was unfortunately America forgot that we were allies at the same time, and it was Desert Storm stuff, and the hats and all the stuff.
Camouflage photos with the team.
Yeah,
and stuff.
It was dramatic, and I'll go back my rookie time. My God, I was playing with Langer. In the set, I played with David Guilford the first time we lost, unfortunately, the first game. Then played with Langer, we managed to win. So it gave me some confidence going into the singles, and I was out third in the singles, first Ryder Cup. And Bernard Gallagher was dead right in putting the rookies out in 3rd, 4th, 5th place as we were, because you can't win the Ryder Cup from 3rd place. But more importantly, as a rookie, you can't lose the Ryder Cup from 3rd place out of 12. Usually the Ryder Cup is won or lost by 9 to 12. That's that horrible place that I found myself in later years, but not initially. And so the draw comes out, Mark Calcavecchia. And one of these guys that is based on confidence, he gets on these rolls, birdie, 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 and he won the Open at Troon, hadn't he, a couple of years prior. So was still, one of the guys that had to be beaten. And Bernard, I'll never forget Bernard Gallagher. And Tony Jacklin was there with him, the previous captain. And they both said to me the previous night, said, don't let Mark Calcavecchia get ahead. Because when he gets ahead, he gets this confidence and this roll, and you steamroll you. So things were going great when I was 5 down at the turn. I obviously wasn't listening to what they were saying. I thought, crumbs, 5 down. Sorry, what did Tony Jacklin, what did Bernard Gallagher say to me? Don't let him get ahead. And here's me 5 down. I'm thinking, oh my God. And then, of course, it goes through your head. Walk into the 10th tee. If I lose 10, 11, 12, that's 8 and 6. And that's the heaviest defeat ever in Ryder Cup singles history.
You knew that walking to the 10th tee, did you?
I did, yeah. I did.
Luckily, the perils of knowing history, I suppose.
The powers that know history, and it's amazing how negative one gets when you're in that position. Very difficult to get positive. So I was fortunate in a way that the walk between the 9th and the 10th tee was about a mile at Kiowa Island.
Good architecture.
Good architecture.
Great design.
And I was lucky because I had time to think. And time to think about, can I just make this... I mean, I'd lost the game. The game was gone. But can I make it, keep him going for as long as possible? And... with me going back to, say, 3 down or 2 down, oh, well, Monty's making a charge. Well, I can do the same thing behind. I'm going to lose the game 5 down at the turn. You're going to lose. The guy's on form. He's on a roll. I've had it. So, but make him play out, So I immediately hook the ball off the 10th tee.
Right, okay.
Into a bunker. I go from bunker to greenside bunker. He's on the green in 2. I'm going, Christ almighty, this is 6 down here. Anyway, go into the bunker. Hey, splash out. Hole it. 4 down. Or win the hole with a birdie. Hold the bunker shot. I thought, right, okay. Was never on the fairway. Bunker in.
Wow.
Right.
I birdied the 11th. 3 down. So I'm now thinking, okay, well, this is good. I'm still going to lose probably, but at least I'm not 8 and 6 here,
Yeah.
Then we half 12 and 13. 14 is a horrible par 3, like a pinnacle, goes back. Anyway, I'm still there. I think I went back and forth over the green a few times. It was so difficult and hard, brand new course, and lost that hole. So I'm 4 down with 4 to go. Gone. I mean, come on. And if I tell you what I scored the last 4 holes of that match, now the wind was now heavy left to right. The course was like a runway. It was solid, hard, very, very difficult. If I tell you what I scored the last 4 holes, you'll never believe it. I finished 4 down with 4 to go in the Ryder Cup. I finished personally double bogey, par, and won them all.
No way. Got him back to all square and half a point. And you threw 2
Elite
doubles
golf
at the
as well.
car.
And I threw 2 doubles at him. And I threw 2 doubles. And that was what it was.
bet
And that's how
smarted
difficult it
for him,
was.
didn't it?
That was how difficult it was. And I had to feel for him as well, because that could have happened to anybody. He was a cutter of the ball, a fader, slicer of the ball. And of course, in that left to right wind, it was dramatic for him. So it was, to throw in a couple of double bogeys 4 down, you don't expect to win. You don't expect to be anywhere near the place. But it goes back to the fact that don't give a putt. On the 17th, he's a good friend of mine, Mark Calcavecchia. I think the world of him, and he's had health issues, and I hope that this goes to him, and he's feeling a lot better. But at 17, I've won. Well, I've won. He's lost. Whatever it might be. We're on the 17th. I'm 2 down, with 2 to go, and I hit it in the water. Short right in the water. It's a 2-iron. It's a horrendous golf hole. I mean, a good one, but my God, it's difficult. One of these Pete Dye classic railway tie sleepers. Anyway, hits the sleeper, comes back in the water. 2 down, and I've put it in the water. I mean, you're gone.
Game over, isn't it?
Game over.
You might as well just pull the 3 wood and just thump it over.
See, he gets out his 3-iron and unfortunately follows me in. So we now go... I said, well, where do we go now? Where's the drop zone? And somebody said it's the ladies' tee. which was round on the other side of this lake, this pond, full of alligators, by the way. And I'm going to my caddy, how far have we got? He says, I don't know, I've never been here before. I go, sorry? What? We're in the Ryder Cup and you don't know how far we've got.
Yeah,
I mean, you wouldn't believe this. And you think it's professional. Well, this wasn't. And he said, I don't know how far it is. I've never been here before. And it was the days before lasers, before range finders. We had to eyeball it. Yeah. And across water, it looked like a 7-iron. So I hit a 6 because I got to get there. Yeah. Hit my 6-iron to the back of the green. So did he. So on the green in 3, both of us. And I putt down, and he gives him a putt from about 35 feet. And I putt down for my bogey, miss it. So I've double bogeyed the hole. And he putts down to about 2.5 feet, 2.5 feet, just outside there. And I'm about to give him the putt. I'm about to say, okay, fine, well done. And I said, no, I'll let him hole it. I'll let him beat me. Thinking what Bernard Gallagher and Tony Jacklin had said. I'll let him beat me. Well, he missed the hole. And then he bogeyed the last. I'm in a good part of the last. And managed to get out with a half.
Wow.
And it was a classic case of, well, at least that half a point allowed Hale Irwin and Bernard Langer to play. Mm-hmm. Because without the half a point, it would have been gone earlier, the Ryder Cup. But I felt for him. Payne Stewart, the late Payne Stewart, was match 2. He was playing David Fairty in match 2 ahead of me. And David Fairty had just beaten Payne Stewart. Great win. Because Payne Stewart we all know how good Payne Stewart was. As soon as Mark Calcavecchia finished, Payne Stewart realised he wasn't feeling so good. He wasn't breathing properly. And Payne Stewart took him onto the beach behind the 18th green. And we saw paramedics coming to help with the breathing apparatus for Mark Calcavecchia to breathe. He thought he'd lost the Ryder Cup.
He'd had like a panic attack, basically.
He had a panic attack and thought he'd lost the Ryder Cup. And Payne Stewart was there with him, paramedics, the captain, and all sorts. And I really felt, my God, hang on a minute, is this what this? Because I was just a rookie, I didn't know what the hell was going on. And I from then on think, right, okay, I want more of this. This has got me written all over it. I want this. This is what this
sending
passion,
men to panic attacks on the beach.
Yeah. But
bit of me.
It's real gladiatorial stuff, though.
It is, isn't it? I want more of this. This is me. This is my competitive edge coming out. This is what I'm built for here, And I wanted more of it, and it was amazing that first. So you say. Yes, people talk about having not lost a singles match at the Ryder Cup. I was bloody close.
Yeah.
But it shows
that first one, I mean, God, to think the next 7 I didn't lose, but the first one, my goodness me, that was as close as you get. And I tried to give it away, but it was very, very difficult. I think I shot 80 that day, so did he. I think it was very, very difficult.
So of course, Harry Varden always said, never concede the putt that beats you.
Yes.
And
yes. And he's dead right.
There is a kernel of truth in that, isn't there?
Never concede the putt that beats you.
Yeah.
Let the guy hole the putt to win. Because yes, you think you know how he's feeling, but we don't know. We don't know if he struggled over the week with those particular length of putts. I knew it was a left to righter. The wind was left to right, and he did miss the hole right. So the wind pushing you onto the ball is going to make the ball go further right than it should. So Harry Varden's dead right.
Your Ryder Cups, when you look at them, in as you do researching for something like this, and it jogs your mind, you're like, God, these are. I mean, they're all iconic because the Ryder Cup is an iconic tournament. But you look at them and they're such important Ryder Cups, each and every one of them. I mean, maybe we should just rattle through very quickly each one. But I mean, the stories within so many of them, we haven't got time for all of them, I'm sure. But there's things like, there's Brookline, there's Valderrama, there's Oakland Hills. These are all some of the most iconic moments in the sport, really. And you're right in the mix.
I could write a book about every one of them, win, lose or draw. You could write a book about every Ryder Cup and the experiences that that one had, your partners of the day, what happened in certain scenarios. I mean, 93, the very next Ryder Cup, Bernard Gallagher puts me with Nick Faldo for the four matches before the singles. And he woke up on Saturday morning and said, my sweater doesn't fit. My red sweater doesn't fit. Faldo's called my room. He says, go down to the pro shop. This is how junior I was. Go down to the pro shop and buy a couple of red sweaters. Get me a double XL and whatever size you are. I think I was the same size. And because my sweater doesn't fit, it's too small. I mean, I've got to look the same. So I go, okay. So I go to the pro shop at the Belfry Saturday morning before breakfast. I said, excuse me. I said, I'm here to buy 2 sweaters, please. One for Nick Faldo and one for myself. The cashmere sweaters that the team wore were a slightly different shade of red than the lambswool sweaters that the pro shop sold.
Yeah, of course.
So you could see for the very intuitive that would notice that Faldo and I had different shade of red on that particular day because I bought the sweaters that morning. That was how junior I was in that particular duo.
That would never happen now.
Never happened.
Like 2010, that was never going to happen.
Never
was
happened.
it?
No,
you were never going to run out of equipment.
No. The team, everything was done.
Yeah.
Preparation, but that was the sort of stuff that went on that behind the scenes that people don't know about. But yeah, that type of thing. And then unfortunately we lost that particular round. It was funny, that particular Belfry Ryder Cup that we did lose in 93. We played the 14th hole, the par 3 at the Belfry, and we played it foursomes and 4-ball, Faldo and I, and we played it in 2-2-2-2. We'd birded it every day. Foursomes and 4-ball. And as we hold our putt, I don't know who did it, was it me or him, I'm not sure, on the Saturday afternoon in our red sweaters. He said to me, walking off, he said, wouldn't it be funny if I hold it tomorrow? I said, yes, it would be very funny. You'd win the hole. Be great. I said, look, don't be silly. We're only one up here. Come on, let's contract this game. Never mind tomorrow, Sunday. Faldo, then what happens on Sunday? He goes and holds it, doesn't he?
Yeah. Really?
He goes and holds it at the Belfry, the 14th. I thought, hang on, this is unbelievable, I'd finished my match. I was out number 3 against Lee Jansen. And I'd finished my match. I came to watch him. And I saw him walking on the 15th tee. He was laughing. He was playing to Paul Azinger, which was a hell of a game. I think they finished all square in the end. But Faldo holed it at 14. And he said to me on the Saturday night, he said, wouldn't it be funny if I hold it? Not if one of us hold it.
No,
No. I mean, hang on a minute. I'm playing tomorrow too. No. Wouldn't it be funny if I hold it tomorrow? I said, yeah, it would be, and he did. Amazing. That's how good he was. That's how good he was.
You really should have canned it in front of him and given him the...
Do it first.
Yeah.
But yes, you could write, and then you go into 95 and
Oak
Hill and how that finished, I mean, amazing. I mean, you talk about the singles matches, Ben Crenshaw I was playing, who was the Masters champion at the time, and a good putter. And anybody in match play that putts well is dangerous. Very dangerous. 18 holes is very quick, very, very dangerous. And Ben Crenshaw was as good as any. And we were all square with 4 holes to go. And I managed to pull out the bag a couple of birdies and managed to win 3-1. But it was close. It could have gone either way. With a putter like Ben Crenshaw, 18 holes is a quick match. You get down early on and he gets a couple of putts in early on, gets his eye in, and it's a difficult task. But that was great to win that one, especially for Bernard Gallagher, because he lost the first 2, was given the opportunity of the third one, and won it. And he's seen as now a winning Ryder Cup captain, which is great.
It feels remiss not to touch on Valderrama or Brookline a little.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Go on.
Is that okay? I don't want to ambush on the time. Valderrama, can you just take us there briefly as well, where it all came down to your match at the back, didn't it, with Scott Hoke? I've been lucky enough to play Valderrama. That tee shot on 18 is absolutely terrifying in and of itself, let alone when what was this? We were 14, 13, wasn't it? We were wanting to win, right?
Yes. What was the scenario? Was Seve didn't want to tie the Ryder Cup. Seve wanted to win the Ryder Cup. Now, although a tie would have kept the Ryder Cup because we'd won it in '95, Seve wanted to win. Right? He wasn't tying anything. So he sent us out there to win. And we were 10, I think we were 11-5 up after the 4-ball and foursomes. We were well ahead. And it was getting a wee bit out of hand in the team room, whereby who wants to go first? Who wants to go second? Doesn't matter. Anybody can do what's what. Because we're going to win this. And it was getting a little bit out of hand. And it was getting a little bit sort of, well, amateurish.
Was it really?
I have to say.
Celebration, champagne was open early.
Faldo looked at me, I looked at him, looked at Langer, and we said, right, I'll go 9, I said. I think I was 9 or 10. Langer was 11. I think Faldo was just behind me. And we said, right, we'll go there because this is getting a little bit silly here. The just in case scenario at that time. And it proved that it came down to, things went horribly wrong very quickly. Freddie Couples had a great win against Ian Woosnam early on, and it set the trend, and things were going wrong, and it needed Rocker to beat Tiger Woods of all things, 4-2, to sort of curb a big American fight back, and then they fought back again. Jim Furyk beat Nick Faldo, which wasn't on the cards. Mind you, Jim Furyk was good then. I don't think Langer won his game. I don't think. Anyway, there was something. It all went wrong. And I was left on my own on the course playing 17. I've never felt the pressure like it myself.
Pouring down, wasn't it?
Pouring down. We were all square. I was 1 up playing 17. And pouring rain. And I've never felt the pressure like it, that my 11 teammates started walking up the left-hand side of the fairway at 17, plus my captain, Seve. They're all watching me, and I'm going, oh my God, what am I going to do here? Seve wanted to play the game. He was only 41. He wanted to play. So I felt I'd just give my clubs to him. He was better than I was. give them to Seve. Christ, give my clubs away. I don't want to do this. Scott Hogue birdied 17, which was dramatic. All square playing the last. And if I had lost that hole and lost the match, it would have been a tie.
Wouldn't have won.
And we wouldn't have won. He wanted to win, and we knew he wanted to win. We all wanted to win. So Scott Hoke hit his drive off the last tee, and I didn't hear an applause. Well, it's American fans as well. I didn't hear any applause at all. And I thought it had just clipped the top of the tree, the last tree gone out onto the fairway, which it had done, and fallen down into the rough. And I happened to hit one of the best 3-woods that I've ever hit. I mean, it was a drawn 3-wood, which I don't really do very often. It required a draw. Very tight hole, as you say, and hit a great drive down there. And we were left with, I was on in 2, about 15 feet. He was on in 3, about 14 feet. So I putted down to gimme length, and he gave me the putt. And he's now got this for a half. If he doesn't hole it, I win the match. If he holes it, it's all square. So Seve thought, this is enough. We've got the half point we needed to get to 14.5. I'll come on the green, Seve says to himself, and pick up his marker and give it to him. Which is a captain's prerogative.
Yeah.
But it wasn't mine.
Yeah. I didn't know that, so I thought you'd given him the putt.
No, David Garland was our referee, and he said every match should play to a finish. But Seve took over. Seve picked up his marker and gave him his ball. Now, hey, who knows? He might have holed it. He might not have done. Odds on in the rain, he would have missed. But he might have holed it, so who knows? But Seve picked up his marker. And it was a problem at the end. I mean, it was the green was swarmed. And about 2 or 3 days later, I kept getting emails through all the time about betting. About a lot of people had put a bet on for Europe to win 15-13, which this would have been if Scott Hoke had missed his putt, as opposed to 14.5, 13.5. And I was getting the blame for causing this issue of people losing a bet. I said, look, and I had to reply. I replied to everyone. I said, look, I'm sorry. I said, it wasn't me. Seve picked up his marker. I was told to play the game out, which I was doing. Seve picked up his marker. So God rest him, the great Seve, but it was him that picked up his marker.
And
but
he
it was
denied you half a point potentially, which you would put you in a lone category of someone with 6.5.
Yeah, I suppose it would have done. I know you say that now. I mean, my hindsight, but the personal record, as I'm saying about the team, the personal record doesn't really mean.
No, you played together.
Doesn't really mean much to me. I mean, it does. It does not to lose a singles, but it doesn't mean
just
about
6 singles points. They're just 6 singles points.
6 points in the singles is enough, and it helped the team. What the hell? Fantastic. But that was a great Ryder Cup, and we did it for Seve. You know, he was made captain there. Because it was in Spain, captain, the King and Queen of Spain were there. It was a celebration for Seve, and we had to win it for him. And I'm glad that in his lifetime that he was captain, and he won the Ryder Cup in Spain. It was the perfect. Yeah, it just all balls fell at the right time.
Did that fuel the fire going into Brookline, where you've got? Because I couldn't. Again, it's one of these things you just forget. You played singles against Payne Stewart that year.
Yeah.
And that was obviously that whole tournament really, certainly as European, was marred by the dancing on the green and everything, which was the match in front of you, I think.
Yes, Olazábal was match 10. He was playing Justin Leonard. We were match 11, Payne Stewart and I. And we were watching the whole scenario unfold in front of us from the 17th fairway. And I looked at Payne and he looked at me and, okay, Justin Leonard's hold a fantastic putt. Good on him. But have we missed a shot here? Because Olazábal still got this for a half, and yet the green is swarmed by people. How is this going to happen? You know, so it didn't add up to us at all. And Olazábal, you know, made a great effort. And actually, in fact, you see the replay of that putt; it was close to going in. Olazábal, and unfortunately lost the game. But it was one of these matches that just through. And then, of course, you know, Payne Stewart and I were out there. We were all square. And 2 months later, Payne Stewart's not with us. You know, for those who aren't remembering, it was almost 30 years ago now that Payne Stewart died in a private plane accident, flying from Florida to Texas, and a decompression, and all the passengers died on the plane. And two months after we played the Ryder Cup singles together. Shocking that someone in the top 10 in the world would lose their lives that way. And a great patriot, fantastic. He always wore the red, white and blue with great pride, which I honour totally. And a good player, became a good friend. And it was an honour to play him the last Ryder Cup match together, you know, to play him. But it was so sad, you know, when the calls came through that he'd passed away.
Yeah, it's shocking.
Yeah,
I sense that when you watch the footage back from that Ryder Cup, there's not the same animosity there in your match that there seemed to be in some of the others, because there was a real strong. It was ferocious.
Oh yeah, it got quite ugly.
Completely bubbled over on
matches.
Sunday
Yes,
morning.
it did. It bubbled over. We you know, if we were to have made a mistake there, we made a mistake that possibly we didn't give enough credit that America wanted to win again. We were a very, very young team. It was the first time that team had gone into a Ryder Cup in my era without Lyle, Langer, Seve, Woosnam or Faldo. It was the first time that we had such a young team. Olazábal and I were the older generation now, and we had entering Harrington, we had Clark, Westwood, we had Paul Lawrie, we had 3 rookies in Jarmo Sandelin, John van der Velde, these guys that had come through, Andrew Coulthard. So it was a very, very young team, and we did extremely well. I think Mark James did an extremely great job to get to 10-6 going into the singles. And America played extremely well on the Sunday to win. So good on them. And it was a good Ryder Cup, apart from the fact that it spilled over. And I'm sorry to say that was the last Ryder Cup that really spilled over in 99. And the world changed in 2001 with 9/11. 9/11 changed the world. We all became friends again. we all became allies again. We all let people out of car junctions, and we were all friends. And so 2002, the Ryder Cup, it was delayed a year because of 9/11, was the friendliest Ryder Cup I've ever played in.
Was that?
Because of 9/11. Yeah. The Desert Storm thing was gone. Europe was suddenly allies again with America, and it was the calmest Ryder Cup the friendliest Ryder Cup that I've played in was 2002.
That's
at the Belfry.
really interesting.
Yeah. And I'm convinced it was because of 9/11. Yeah.
Obviously, we're a little pressed on time, and we could have spoken forever about all the Ryder Cup stuff. But finally, having had such a stellar Ryder Cup career as a player, talk to the feelings, the emotions you got when you were asked to captain in 2010, and how that all kind of panned out.
That was the, you start off one's career, and we went through that, at Turnberry, the 9 holes to become a pro, and then you hopefully keep your card on the European tour for guys that are better than me, and then you get to a stage where you win a tournament, and you think this is fantastic, and then you get to a stage of being in the top 12 in the order of merit, and you get a call up for the Ryder Cup, or you qualify for the Ryder Cup team. My God, that's incredible. And then you go down a few years, and then you're asked by the committee at the time to be captain of the Ryder Cup. And that really is as high as you get within the European Tour, as it was the DP World Tour now. To captain the Ryder Cup is the biggest honour that you can receive. And it was a meeting we had in Abu Dhabi in February in 2009, because the Ryder Cup was in 2010 in September, so it gives you about a year and a half. And we were going in, and Nick Faldo had just done the captaincy in 2008, followed before by Ian Woosnam and Langer, so that all had Langer, Woosnam, Faldo. We'd had Seve previously. And the next guy to take the captaincy was Sandy Lyle, really. That was the next man on the list, the top 5 in Europe, the big 5 as they were known as. So I went in with my vote. I was on the committee at the time, and there was about 25 of us in the room on the committee, plus European Tour executives, rules officials, and all, it's a full room, about 40 people in the room. I went in with my vote thinking, okay, I'll vote for Sandy Lyle. And there wasn't many votes coming up for Sandy Lyle. It wasn't happening. And we thought, okay, well, we'll give it back to Woosnam because it's in Wales. Perfect. We'll give it to Woosie. That's all fine. And then there was a discussion about Woosie. And then Woosie, I don't think he wanted to do it again, to be honest. I think, you'd win once and that was it. So, God, we're losing here. So Henrik Stenson stood up. He was on the committee at the time. And says, well, what are we talking about here? We've got a captain in the room. And everybody looked at each other. And goes, what do you mean? And so, well, and he happened to be sitting next to me. He said, well, it's Monty here. Why not have Monty as the captain? And everyone's going, what? Well, hang on. Hang on a minute. What's this? Monty would like probably to play, if possible, or whatever. I hadn't played in 2008. I played in 2006, but I hadn't played in 2008, so probably my time was ending anyway. So they said, well, would you mind, Colin, if you exit the room, and we'll obviously talk about you.
Oh, nice.
What a lovely way to put it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll never forget, I went to the loo outside to hide because the press were outside. And here's me leaving the room. And all the press were wanting to know. So Paul Lawrie was on the committee at the time, and he went to the loo just after me to sort of stand guard and tell me to come back in when it was my time to get, and they had enough discussion about me. Came back in and was offered the job. And it's a job you cannot refuse. The captain of the Ryder Cup team. So I was offered the job that night, but I went in with a complete different view a bit like my amateur to pro stuff. I came in with a completely different view,
Blindsided.
and ended up walking out the room as the Ryder Cup captain. And you know, I phoned Sam Torrance immediately, my good friend Sam, who'd obviously captained me in 2002, and he said, from now on, you will go to bed thinking about the Ryder Cup, and you will wake up thinking about the Ryder Cup for a year and a half until it happens. And he was dead right.
Really?
I went to bed thinking of this tournament and woke up thinking about it every day for a year and a half. I was thinking about the whole scene. It was amazing. It took over my life, and trying to get this right, to prepare my team to do the best they could. That's all I was trying to do, to get as many points as possible. And they were fantastic. They all contributed at least half a point to the success, which meant that everybody felt they had been part of that winning team. To contribute at least half a point was vital to them, for their own self-esteem. And it was great, you know, to win by half a point. The famous Graham McDowell against Hunter Mahan at the end there. And
US Open champ at the time, wasn't it?
US Open champion at the time, and also Wales Open champion at Celtic Manor.
Yeah.
That's why he was number 12.
Yeah.
You know, I put him there for a very, very good reason. He wasn't happy at the start, and he'll tell you that. He'll tell you that himself. He wasn't happy at the start, thinking, well, why am I number 12? It'll be finished by then, because we were ahead. I said, no. Just, you're there for a very good reason, just in case. And it was the just in case scenario. You know, it was going horribly wrong on Sunday, and he helped me out. So he's on my Christmas card list forever.
That's the edge, though, isn't it? I sense for the Europeans, really, with the event is the team nature of it, and
it is.
That's the defining factor in all of these Ryder Cups, really. I think
we played for each other. Nobody played individually. I told my team at Celtic Manor, I'll never forget, the speech was I told them that leave their egos at the door and pick it up on Monday morning when you leave. Happened to be Tuesday morning because it was the only Ryder Cup to go through on Monday because of the weather. I don't want any egos in this room. And it was developing the egos that I felt other captains that I'd played under had difficulty with sometimes, and I wanted to learn from them, to learn from the egos in the room, because a lot of egos in the room, that Poulter, Westwood, Martin Keimer had just won a major. You know, these guys, Luke Donald was right up there in the world if he wasn't number one at the time. You know, so there was a number of egos in that room, Sergio Garcia and these guys, and so I wanted to calm that down and say, right, you're holding putts for him, who's holding putts for you, who's holding putts for you. And Poulter, you're holding putts for Luke Donald, who's holding putts for Westwood, who's holding putts for Molinari.
Yeah.
Bringing the team element together was important. Preparation was everything. They wanted to prepare them properly, but it was playing for each other, which we have done so well for so long. We've always been outranked by America on the world rankings. We've always been outranked by them. But our team ethic and our team principles have kept us going. Yeah.
Colin, you've been incredibly grateful, generous with your time. We are very grateful. Just as a parting gift, what are you thinking for this Ryder Cup in Bethpage?
Goodness me. Well, look at McIlroy. You know, he's won the Grand Slam now, and he said he's got one more thing to do in the world of golf, and it's to win an away tie at the Ryder Cup. And it's getting more difficult. The last 7 Ryder Cups have been won by the home team. And you'd have to say that the 13th man for any team is the crowd. The atmosphere will be electric. It could get boisterous. Let's hope it doesn't get ugly. And it's going to be very, very difficult for Europe to win. But in saying that, Luke Donald is an incredibly safe pair of hands. He did a superb job in Rome. He'll have a very similar team, really, because it was quite young. And I think we can do this. I really do. I really do think we can do this. We've got some great talent. Oberg and Hovland and Tyrrell Hatton and Rahm and McIlroy and, you know, Fleetwood and Lowry. Well, there's 7 out of the 12 already. Well, need another 5. Bob McIntyre's proving himself great for Scottish golf as well. And then you've got the Højgaard twins or whatever. You know, you've got a real set there that is potentially a winning team, and let's hope they can do it. I'm going over there myself to support them, and let's hope that they can do this. It'll be a fantastic achievement if Europe can go into the Lion's Den, really, a New York crowd, Bethpage Black, to win the Ryder Cup, and I wish them every success. And I think they might just do it.
Another good side for it.
Colin, thank you so much for your time, and hopefully see you when we're over in Portrush, and if not, the best of luck in your Senior Open at Sunningdale.
Yes, endeavours to keep it on the fairway. It's going to be quite bouncy and hard at Sunningdale, but for those of us who know the course, keep it on the fairway. You've got half a chance.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
This